We're talking about Graham Potter. Through the door, in the door, however you like to say it. 2.5-year deal. He's become the club's new head coach. West Ham, of course. Details of the contract not fully known, but no doubt we'll hear more. James is a big West Ham fan. Now, James, I put the question out. Just the other side of the break there. After Pellegrini, Moyes, Lopetegui, is Potter the man to bring style and substance to West Ham? What do you think? Good morning.
Good morning, Simon. Good morning, Jim.
Morning, James.
No, exactly that. Potter is the technically savvy manager that we need to come in and do this, because I'm going to be really honest, right? With Lopetegui, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Lopetegui.
Yeah.
What I've watched, I've been West Ham fan all my life, right? I've never ever seen a more transparent breakdown of tactics and playing style on the football pitch under Lopetegui, right? You looked at the players, they looked confused. They were walking around the pitch, like almost nonchalantly. And let's be honest, at the very end, they're totally given up. And why I'm saying that, right, is that the Newcastle result, we didn't play tactically well. Our players did that result. Our players just turned around and said, you know what, this manager ain't doing it for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it around. We're just going to play as well as we can, and we'll get that. Because you always ask what West Ham want. What do we want? What's the West Ham way? We want. I've been at the London Stadium, right?
Yeah.
And we are losing. Just somebody put us in a decent, hard-working tackle, and we all stand up on our feet, cheering him, right? We could be 2-0 down, we'll stand there. All we want is attacking, hard-working football with players playing with confidence and courage.
Yeah, but James, it sounds a little bit, mate, that you're telling me when you win, that's down to the players. When you lose, well, that's the problem with the manager.
Look, the players have got the talent and the skill. They kick the ball in the back of the net. That's how you win goals per game, right? But ultimately, they have to be set up to go out there and win. And if the manager is standing there on the sideline doing his conkers because he's trying to put this style over that nobody understands, it was so transparent. We could see it, Jim. You know that.
Yeah. James, before you go, I'm just looking at it. You're 14th. You've won 6 in 20. Under Potter, where do you finish in May?
I'd like to see top 10. I know Simon says the other day, he said we're probably a top 12 side. I think we're a bit better than that, Simon. I would like to see, you know what, against Villa, I'd love to see a cup run. But, yeah, we're a top 10 side, easy.
Probably, but you're also deluded if you think that the only people that make the decisions are the players, and ultimately they're exonerated from any responsibility. I find it perplexing why there's this constant... The players, of course, are the architects of outcomes, but they can't then not be complicit and part of the problem. You can't just lay the blame at everybody else but the players. It can't just be the manager or the owner. The players themselves have a professional responsibility to represent the club properly. And for you to say that they decided against Newcastle... So what did they decide against an informal Bournemouth then? Or a decent Brighton when they got results against those particular sides and got draws against them? Was that the players' decision, or was that the manager organising the players to play in a certain way?
That's a good point. Now, I think that was a breakdown. I agree with you. I'm an employee as well. I'll put in a shift in, right, but also I get demoralised as well. If I'm on a project, right, and I get demoralised, I find that very hard to get it over the line. And it's the same in football,
Agreed. But you won't look for excuses from other people when you're not a prima donna that's insulated and cosseted from the exposure to the real world. Footballers are. They need to be told when they're good and they're bad, and they need not to be given excuses. Otherwise, you never build character, you never build a winning mentality, and you constantly build an excuse culture.
That's fair enough. Show me the money and I'll try and be a footballer.
James, that was a great call. We enjoyed that. Thank you very much indeed. Rob, another West Ham fan. Many West Ham fans trying to come to air. We'll take your call, Rob. Good morning to you. What do you think? Potter in. Will it work?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Great show as always.
Thank you, Rob.
To be honest with you, he seems to fit the bill. And what I mean is that West Ham, I don't like the way we've done our business. I really don't. I feel we're an embarrassment at times. The foreign managers haven't worked for us. They just have not worked, whether they get the culture or West Ham way, as they call it. I just feel that he would have a better understanding, and I really do hope it genuinely works for him, because we're just not. We're not as high as we should be. I'm not a West Ham fan that's disillusioned. I don't think we're the biggest club in the league, and I don't think we're going to be top 4. But we've got to aim for that, and we've got to have someone who will take us there and get the players playing in that kind of way. The players have been abysmal. as Simon says, prima donnas pay too much money, and soon as something goes their wrong way, they've got their thumbs in their mouth, tugging on their ear. You know, I hope it works for Potter, and I think he should be a good fit for us. I really do.
Rob, Simon's right beside me. I mean, what do you think of what Rob, just the very image he painted there of the players? Is he spot on with that? I mean, you rip into the players all the time.
I don't rip into players. What I do is I create a balance.
You do.
No, I don't. I try and create a balance in the conversation, because ultimately it is always about blame culture. It's very easy to point your finger at one set of individuals, whether it be the owner, whether it be the director of football, whether it be the chairman. I think if you build a culture into players where they're accountable and responsible, too many players down tools, too many times players get managers out of jobs, and sometimes managers deserve to be getting out of jobs, because if you can't control these players, then you shouldn't be in the job in the first place. But they shouldn't just be given a pass. Younger players, I get it. But when you've got senior pros in dressing rooms that are highly paid footballers, it's not all about money. I know that. But they make it all about money. The players make it all about money. So when anyone else brings it into the equation, people go, oh, why did you make it all about money? Because that's the nature of the game. And all I ever want from players, and all I ever wanted from players that played for me, is to be paid what they're worth and worth what they're paid in any circumstance.
Yeah.
And it comes with the moniker of professional footballers. And they get away with it. And they get away with it too many times. And ultimately, if you don't put your foot down about it, the next manager will suffer from the same malaise as the first manager suffered from, and he'll go on and on and on. And the interesting thing about West Ham is they've had plenty of English managers or UK managers, and they didn't want them either. They didn't want Sam Allardyce because they didn't like his brand of football. They hounded David Moyes out of the door. They've had other Englishmen. They've had Pardew in there.
Yeah.
They've had Kerbishley in there. There's always been dissent about managers, whether they're bloody English or they're not.
Yeah, Rob, do you think that you and the rest of the West Ham fans will seriously give Potter time and give him a chance?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I didn't want Moyes to go. I've been on your programme and said that before. I'm not a West Ham fan who didn't want these managers in.
Yeah.
I certainly don't like the way we've conducted our business. And I know what Simon's saying, but it's a shared responsibility. It's the manager's job to get the team up for the game.
Agreed.
It's the player's job to do it on the pitch.
Agreed.
Rob,
Agreed.
thank you so much for the call. Thanks to the rest of you for calling in. No doubt going to hear from Evertonians as well, because at the moment the conversation seems to be going from Sean Dyche, who's in charge at Everton, to Jose Mourinho. Many of the Everton fans would like Jose Mourinho at the club, so I see in social media anyway. And of course this is because the Friedkin Group, who own Roma, own Everton, and Mourinho was once an employee of theirs. There's Ian, an Evertonian. Our players for years have underperformed. We need a manager like Mourinho to change the whole mentality of the club. Mourinho, Everton, really?
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.